Alright guys, so picture this. You wake up one day, get ready, start browsing the internet for stuff to talk about, and you remember something from your childhood. You go check out if it's still around since you know it was still around a few months ago, then boom. Announcement that it's gone, dead, deleted, no more. This is how I found out Furcast ended. But there's more. I started looking into the comments on the Furcast site because I wanted to see if anyone I knew was still around and what public opinion was on the end of the podcast. And there was your general sadness, people not wanting the podcast to go and such. But hidden underneath all the sad responses was a familiar face. A familiar blue face. Pharaoh, co-host of Furcast and co-founder if my memory serves, left a comment on the final announcement. Struck me as odd, but not out of place. He was on a lot of shows. So I read his response and oh my god, the rabbit hole I found. So, in the announcement, it was made clear that Friday Night Tech, FNT, and other programs would return. Just not Furcast. Alright, so, let's take a quick read of what Pharaoh had to say. I had no say in the ending, no consideration. My heart is broken, and I had to learn from fans, not even from the person I created this and shared my life with. My soul has been crushed, fans lied to, and just sheer disappointment in no reason given. But you can continue, without any remorse, the shows you want. No Christmas specials as promised, no we'll be back in 2021, but you needed a break, only to find you lied to me again. Now, this struck a chord with me. I used to watch this show live every time I saw the announcement or remembered. In high school, it was like a weekend treat for me to look forward to. But, as you grow up, life gets more busy and I couldn't watch as often. And finally, I had time for once. I went to check the site and the show I watched was gone with an empty apology. No conclusion, no proper final episode, no explanation. For a second, I felt, to a lesser extent, some of what Pharaoh probably felt. Now imagine, this guy was co-founder with no say or notification in the end of something he helped create. While the response might sound overdramatic to you, this guy was part of this for 10 years when the announcement was made. Now, Pharaoh isn't some good soul who always made it to podcasts on time. I remember explicitly waiting in the IRC chat for this man to show up, and 9 times out of 10, he was late. Sometimes he just wouldn't show up too. By the way, for any ex-Furcast viewers who might see this, hi. I used to go by a few users in chat, most notably Sean Fox, Nautical, and Sam Zander, and that is in the order of most recent to oldest. But back to the topic at hand. Pharaoh was one of the reasons I showed up to the podcast. So seeing him in that state and looking back through his Twitter cuts a lot deeper than it probably should. Apparently, there was no fight. And Paradox, the co-founder of Furcast and the founder of Friday Night Tracks, left a response to this saying Pharaoh didn't respond to his Telegram DMs for 2 months. Now, for those who were avid watchers, this isn't unheard of from Pharaoh. Again, I remember a lot of times where it was joked about how Pharaoh didn't respond to Telegram messages and such. I don't know if this was used as a sly jab to Pharaoh or what. I see it as a low blow regardless. I know I'm laying my bias leak in here, but Paradox definitely was not one of my favorites. He was, however, one of the people who got me into audio hardware, and I definitely saw him as some inspiration to get into IT. I left some stuff out of the response, by the way. Quick summary is Pharaoh sees this as Paradox ending the friendship and shoving him out of his life, and that there's no way for Pharaoh to continue content. Which there is, like a user mentioned, he has a phone. But he's posted videos to his Twitter now, so I think this was just a very in-the-moment thing. And again, there was no fight. I used to be a very starstruck kid. I think everyone was at one point in their life. And I don't know the specifics of behind-the-scenes stuff. I've checked both Twitters, but couldn't find anything to suggest what Pharaoh was saying is wrong. But as the memories flood back, I remember wanting to be on the show and talk to these people. And before you say I'm dredging up old drama to make a video or gain clout, I literally just found out about this May 13th, 2021. You can go back on my Twitter timeline and check for a tweet. Pharaoh, If you see or hear this, keep pushing to do something again if you so desire. You made a lot of the episodes funny and fun to watch. Paradox. If you see this, I don't know what went on behind the scenes that made you do this, and I hope you've talked it out with Pharaoh now. I cannot overstate how much the podcast got me through. It was a big help in shaping who I was. I'm grateful for the time I spent watching you guys and talking in the IRC. And I know this seems even more melodramatic. FNT still exists after all, but it won't be the same without that dumb, straight, blue fox. People move on, lives change, and I don't hate either party for what happened. I won't find myself watching FNT anymore, as the site has a login system now, which, in my honest opinion, is really weird. I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know. It comes off as sus. But I digress. This wasn't supposed to be as depressing as it was. While I'm sure there's more people who felt alienated who watched more often than me, I don't feel the need to cover them, as it's not my place to speak for others without knowing. In the end, this will be a relic of the fandom's past, and we just have to move on. I think that's all I have to say on this situation. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a sub. Feel free to comment with your thoughts on the situation. I know mine are coming from a very biased and nostalgic place. Like the video if you liked it. Remember, I stream every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 12 to 2 p.m. EST on Auxiliary FX, so check me out there. And as always, I'll see you guys all next time.